Hi, my name is Raj Jawa. I'm an actor, director, writer, producer, and also a medical marijuana patient. Oh man, I needed that.
36 for 36 is brought to you by The Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice. Subscribe today on YouTube.
Well, I was born in Culver City, California. And then my family relocated pretty quickly to Santa Clarita. That was in 1989. And I had a pretty regular upbringing. Just normal kid, nice guy, didn't really know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. When I went into community college, though, I found film class, or I found my way into film classes. And that was a nice experience for me, being a quiet guy, a shy guy. I got to make films that, you know, I could show people how I felt, or the kind of experiences I was having. You know, people would be like, "Hey Raj, you know, how do you feel today?" It's like, "How do I feel?" "Hey, take a look at this film." But you know, that was the way for me to express myself in a way that I couldn't just speak out to someone. And that was the first time I was exposed to marijuana through friends and colleagues who had smoked it, many of them since high school or earlier. Like most people, I think, that do smoke, they start much earlier in life, but I hadn't. This college had been my first exposure to marijuana. And like many people, I started, you know, at a dealer, at just a guy, texting him and going to meet him at a, 99-cent store parking lot, just doing the exchange in our cars or what have you. But once I had gotten a license, a medical marijuana card, things really changed. You know, you could go to a brick and mortar location, a store, and pick up, marijuana like it's a pharmacy of weed and, weed related products. The process of getting a medical marijuana card is fairly simple, although it's a little more complicated than most people think. You start out going to a weed doctor, a medical marijuana doctor, and they will ask you a few questions, ask you what your symptoms are, why you'd like to use medical marijuana, why you think it'll be effective for your conditions. And for me, it's depression and anxiety that I have as my conditions to use it. And from there, they take your blood pressure and other things like a doctor would, and they do try to suggest some alternatives, or they try to indicate that you shouldn't remain on marijuana for the entirety of your life. I mean, many people do, and I don't think that's a problem, but they do go off like a doctor would. You know, you're not supposed to be on prescriptions for this point in your life. You're not supposed to be on them for all of your life. So that's kind of the process of getting the card, and then you take that card to a dispensary, where you actually kind of purchase the marijuana. And for many years it was called a donation, while the legality of it was being questioned by the city government. And that's where the whole culture of having like a pharmacy for marijuana comes in, and some really great people working at these places, really nice, really friendly, and it's very professional, many of them. Using marijuana as an adult, I think, gave me a better perspective than people who just like, oh, it's just a drug, it's just an illicit drug that you take. I really saw the medical necessity for it, the medical benefits for it, especially for myself, who was, shy and reserved and really kind of quiet and kind of afraid to talk to people, really afraid to show many aspects of my personality and who I am, for fear of being judged and being like, oh, we don't want to hang out with that guy. He's crazy, or he's weird, or he talks in weird, jumbled, chopped up sentences that are all messed up. So weed really gives me the freedom to not dwell there. You know, my mind kind of has a negative cycle that it focuses on, and you know, gives me all the reasons why something may not work out. And I would, you know, many times I'll smoke in the you know, first thing in the morning or early in the morning, to kind of calm that. It kind of just, if you have a lot of white noise in your ear, it kind of washes it all away. So you can focus on what's going to happen. You don't worry about, oh, I'm paranoid because where's the next, you know, where's the next paycheck coming from? Where's the next meal coming from, or what have you? It's really, you just get to be. You just get to do, like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing today, so I'll do these things and we'll just go from there. And weed definitely helps with that. It doesn't let you get bogged down in the details or too far in the future, what you can't control. You kind of keeps you in the here and now, for me. Other people may have different experiences. And you know, I think for me, I started really because I thought, oh, I'll smoke weed and I'll be cool, you know, this will make me a cool guy. People will hang out me because I have weed and I smoke weed in my car, you know. But it doesn't really work out like that. It really has a better benefit, to be honest with you. But it's not a cure-all for becoming, you know, a social butterfly. It's just kind of, it helps you be. It helps you be who you want to be a little better. Once I had seen the benefits of marijuana for myself and for my own personal conditions, and when I started following some of the advocacy groups for marijuana, like NORML, on Facebook and other media venues, I kind of saw that marijuana wasn't just good medicine for, you know, myself, my depression and anxiety. It's good for people with much more serious conditions. There's a lot of videos online featuring kids with you know, epilepsy, seizures, and autism that, you know, kind of take a cannabis oil, and their symptoms and their side effects are highly alleviated. They're doing much better. Many of them, you know, who don't talk are now speaking. So that really kind of inspired me to do more. I wanted to do more than just posting on Facebook and posting articles and other videos of other people. I wanted to do something, at least some small part. And when the Los Angeles City Council was considering the what they called the gentle ban in July 2012, I really wanted to go and speak, and I did, with a bunch of other people who very passionate, very on both sides, very passionate people who really care about this issue, and we're all talking in front of a city council who, many of them probably have never smoked in their life, or if they did, you know, it's kind of the Bill Clinton didn't inhale, didn't enjoy it thing, and I only did it once as a child. It was kind of a, you know, they don't really understand the issue like people who are seeing it every day. And I really wanted to at least make my point known about the difficulties of what they were expecting, which was they'll close all the storefront shops, but every patient could grow their own small quantity of marijuana. And I really wanted to show them and tell them the difficulty of it, comparing it to growing our own food, which many of us can't do either. You know, it's to expect a patient, especially a very ill patient, to grow their own medicine, I think is outrageous, and that's what I went to speak about.
While the so-called gentle ban ends storefront shops, it still allows several patients to collectively grow their own marijuana in their own homes or apartments. But opponents say it's just absurd to expect people with severe disabilities or terminal diseases to be able to afford or do labor-intensive indoor marijuana gardening. This is going to be a controversy that continues.
Growing is not as easy as writing words down on the page for us to follow. Forcing us to do so does not magically grant us the talent, skill, and ability to grow marijuana, just as many of us would not be able to grow our own food if we did not have the option of the grocery store tomorrow.
With Raj Jawa. Please, sir, start.
My name is Raj Jawa. I'm a resident of Los Angeles County. City Council members, I'm here as a medical marijuana patient and productive cannabis user. The derogatory, yet somewhat still endearing term, of course, being stoner, which is synonymous with being unproductive. I want to stand against that stereotype and say, yes, I can use cannabis and still complete a full day's work from 8 a.m. to midnight because I'm a filmmaker and that is the lifestyle. I heard the solution of the gentle ban, allowing patients only the ability to grow their own cannabis. I don't know how many here have tried to grow marijuana. It can be difficult. I have tried and have zero to show for my efforts and wasted money. A cannabis grow requires much time, space, and money to get started and maintain. Growing is not as easy as writing words down on the page for us to follow. Forcing us to do so does not magically grant us the talent, skill, and ability to grow marijuana, just as many of us would not be able to grow our own food if we did not have the option of the grocery store tomorrow. I come to you also as a patient, a sufferer of depression and anxiety. I use cannabis to keep me from losing my mind on every little detail of the day.
Thank you.
What I think the most dangerous aspect of marijuana is really just the stigma it carries from propaganda and other things that have been carried throughout the years. Especially as a medical aspect, it's taken as smoke. You smoke it with a pipe. It's not a pill prescribed by a doctor. It's something you get at a special doctor to prescribe to you. But to me, it harkens back to the days of natural medicine. People who would take the bark off a tree and chew on that to help out their headaches before the existence of aspirin. And I think that the fact that marijuana has such wide uses and has so many different conditions that can help out, I think kind of worries the pharmaceutical industry, and I think they kind of continue these stigmas as much as possible. They kind of continue the smear campaign for marijuana so they can maintain their customer base, which is understandable from a business perspective. But from a health perspective, you just want people to have the most, the best medicine they can get at the best price and what's most effective for them with the least amount of side effects. And I think for many people, marijuana is that medicine. As a filmmaker and producer, I kind of used that venue to make a short documentary in 2013 I called Weed and Me. And that kind of explored my personal journey and discovery of marijuana.
Material is not what you need in your life. It's not about the stuff you have. It's about the relationships, the people,
Since then I've toyed with the idea of doing a feature-length documentary, kind of exploring people across the nation and talking to them about their stories of using marijuana, because I think people who smoke have interesting tales to tell people. They, anyone can pick up a cigarette and start smoking, but I think people who smoke marijuana do so for certain reasons, whether they're medical or social reasons. And I think that's interesting, and I think it helps defeat the stigmas the public has towards the drug and people who do use the drug regularly or on a semi-regular basis. And that's the goal for me, to continue talking about it. Whatever I do, I want to keep discussing the matter and keep showing people that it's okay, showing them, marijuana and showing, this is all right. It's not the bad villain that you think it is. Because my dream is really to be able to pull out some marijuana and be able to smoke it on the streets of LA without fear of any kind of arrest or reprisals. And for people to recognize that it's good medicine and that it's okay, that it's just as okay to see people on the street doing it as cigarettes without having to call the police on someone. For me, if it's done smart, if it's done right, I think marijuana can be really beneficial to a lot of people, because I truly believe that weed can make the world a better place. I made my first appearance on The Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice in Season 1, Episode 1. And I've been involved ever since. I've either on camera or behind the scenes doing a little DP work or whatever I can do to help. Motown's so passionate, so I'm always down to help him out in whatever way possible. My favorite moment was probably when I got to be a homeless guy on the streets of LA and kind of yelling at the general public to give me money to help Motown's late night campaign. That was a lot of fun, a lot of nerve-wracking because it was all improv. So I was just like yelling at people randomly, and some people actually gave me money, oddly enough. But it was just a lot of fun. It really pushed my boundaries as an actor. I got to do something that I probably wouldn't have done if it was just me. I would have gone with something more scripted. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Anything for the future, please, people. We need your funds. We'll get Motown Maurice on the TV screen, please. Your money, please. Change. Change for the future. Change for late night. Change for Motown Maurice. Anything you got. Dimes, quarters, nickels, pennies. Is that a Gucci bag? You don't got nothing? Come on.
You should watch The Late Night Experiment to witness the passion and hard work that is Motown Maurice. I mean, no one pushes harder to become the future of late night television than he does. And the show, it's really calming, it's really relaxing. It's like smoking weed. Well, speaking of which, where's my pipe?
Now this is a tale of a late-night host. He's strong, he's brave, he's sure. His name is Motown Maurice. Subscribe and please explore. Subscribe and please explore.